Hey everybody, my name is Rudy, also known as RG Latino, and today I wanted to come back to you guys talking about two Nintendo Switch Directs that we got recently. One on March 27th and the other one that dropped today, which today being the day that I am recording this, April 2nd. And the first Direct that we got in March was essentially just talking about Switch games that are coming still to the first Switch. And then the Direct that came out today was all about the Switch 2. Can you please move? All about the Switch 2. And I figured, you know what? Probably much better idea to just, instead of talking about each Direct separately, I figured probably a good idea to maybe make them into one video instead. You know, talk about the Switch 1 Direct that happened earlier last week, and then talk about the Switch 2 Direct. So I had said that on the live stream that I'd make its own separate video for the previous Direct, and I just figured, you know what, let's fucking just make one video at that point. So that's what I'm doing today. So I want to just briefly talk about the first Direct that came out and essentially what that means for the Switch 1. So the first Direct that dropped in March 27th was all about highlighting new games that were going to be coming out for the Switch 1. So we got some new reveals for Rhythm Heaven. We got new reveals for Metroid Prime 4. Essentially more gameplay reveal with that, which, wow, absolutely amazing. And also, brief note for this Direct, I really just want to go over some of the highlights because the real meat and potatoes for these two Directs was absolutely the Switch 2 Direct. So I'm not going to really delve too deep into the previous one as much, but I will give a little bit of my thoughts in regards to that. But anyways, so we got reveals for Metroid Prime 4, we got reveals of a new Pokemon game, Legends Z through A, and we saw some new games that were being announced, mainly indie stuff as well. For when it comes to, honestly, a lot of cozy sim games, which, you know, if that's your cup of tea, that's cool. I'm personally not really all about the cozy games, like the cozy sim games and stuff, but I do know that there is a very big audience for those games. So for that audience, I know those games were absolutely hitting 100%. So but for the Switch 1, we essentially just got a couple new games, game announcements, and just seeing what the Switch 1 is going to be getting at this point at the end of its life cycle. And don't get me wrong, there's still pretty great games out there. Like, personally, for me, one of the highlights of the Direct was, starting off right from the beginning, was Dragon Quest 1 and 2 Remake. And that I am so looking forward to. I have been playing Dragon Quest 3, basically just been going in and out of playing it, but the entire time that I have been playing it, I've had such an amazing time and such a great, it's been so nice just seeing like just the visuals and Square Enix really taking a lot of love and care for Dragon Quest 3 Remake, that I'm super looking forward to Dragon Quest 1 and 2. And especially because, like, for me, I've never really been into any of the Dragon Quest games, so Dragon Quest 3 was essentially my first step into that Dragon Quest world, and it is so interesting, it's so good, it's a lot of fun, and the 2D, 3D elements that Square Enix decided they wanted to revamp it to, essentially the same as Octopath and Octopath Traveler 2, I thought was fucking amazing. And I really expect 1 and 2 to just hit that same itch that I was really looking for with Dragon Quest 3. So I'm really looking forward to that game. That game looks amazing. Then we also got a new look for Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4, wow, holy shit. Talk about a game that Nintendo is just really pushing the limits to what the Switch 1 can still do after all these years. Like, we got that gameplay overview and we saw what they're capable of still doing, and the environments, everything just looked beautiful. It looked amazing. I'm really curious to see how it will actually start, how it'll actually run when the game finally drops on Switch 1. But overall, I thought that was a great way to really showcase Metroid Prime, see some of the new powers, because it looks like Samus now has some psychic powers that she can utilize in the game. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with that. And Nintendo has been putting a lot of love and care to the Prime series, like with the remaster that we saw last year. Fantastic, was really good. I believe it was last year. And then seeing Prime 4 getting close here soon to being released, and it's looking great. I'm really excited to see what they end up doing with this game, and I know it's gonna look a million times better on the Switch 2, because spoiler, it's also coming to the Switch 2. So but yeah, and then another really big highlight from the first Direct was Rhythm Heaven. Rhythm Heaven, I haven't played in a long time, and I believe it's been a while since we've gotten a new entry into that series. But I really do love I really love some rhythm games. Like, ooh, they're so good. I loved playing Hi-Fi Rush on PlayStation whenever it finally came out. Such a great rhythm action game. And I know that Rhythm Heaven is not really a rhythm action game, but just more of a rhythm music game and stuff. But that type of games just really hit for me personally. I love music. I've been a musician for almost the majority of my life, and I really just love seeing how music and video games just coincide with each other, how they live in harmony with each other. And to see a game like Rhythm Heaven come back and bring new life into that franchise, it's so cool, and I'm so excited to see what they do with it. I'm looking forward to that game. Then another big highlight that we saw was Tamagotchi Life. I've personally never played Tamagotchi Life, and it looks like it's been in hiatus for about 10 years. So it's been a long time since we've gotten a new entry into that series. But I saw a lot of people got really hyped up for that game. And to me personally, I wasn't really into it. I wasn't really invested into it. But for the people who were, I just love seeing the reactions of people who have not seen a new entry in that series for a very long time, just get super excited about it. And like, to me, it just makes me happy that some other people are at least having a lot of joy and seeing and really being really excited for something that they haven't seen in a long time. Even though that may not be for me, I know other people are really excited for it. So I'm looking forward to see what that game is like, how people react to it, how people talk about that game. So I'm sure it'll be definitely a really good entry into that series, I hope. But then aside from that, then we got into a bunch of other indie games as well. We got to look into some stuff like High on Life being on Switch 1, which I was very surprised that we're going to get that. We saw other indie games like Brookside, which is this really cool, cozy game that I really like the 2D aspect. We got Monument Valley 1, 2 being remastered on there, and then 3 coming out later on. And then we also got Patapon remaster as well, which I'm so excited to see that. I haven't played a Patapon game since, gosh, I was a kid and stuff, but they were so much fun. And yeah, we just got a really good look into some of the other indie titles that are being worked on for the Switch 1, and overall I thought it was a pretty decent Switch Direct. This is definitely something for the end of its life cycle, just one last hurrah essentially for the Switch 1 when it comes to Directs. I'm sure we'll probably get maybe a couple more, but that to me felt like we're definitely getting to the last chapter of the Switch and ready to close the book on that console soon. And, I think it's a great way to end on that, for the Switch 1. They got some good releases, and it's had a very long lifespan. And I am looking forward to seeing what Nintendo does for the Switch 2, which we got the Switch 2 Direct. And let me tell you, Nintendo did not disappoint. For this Switch 2 Direct, before I go into it, I really wanted to just give a little bit of my thoughts about what I was looking forward to with this Switch 2 Direct. And essentially, what I was wanting with this was I wanted to get a really good look of the Switch 2. And obviously, we did. But I wanted to see more about what some of these mysterious buttons we were looking at. Like, I believe there was a C button that a lot of people were very much like, what does that have to do with anything with the Switch 2? I wanted to see the mice controls work on Switch, because a lot of people saw that first trailer and said, why is the Joy-Cons, running around like a mouse and shit like that? And a lot of people had a lot of speculation in regards to that. And, first thought was, hey, maybe Switch 2 is about to have some mouse controls and stuff, which I think is a great idea. I think that is awesome. And they wanted to know more about what this new generation is going to look like, what kind of games and stuff like that. And I wanted to know what kind of games were going to be day one on Switch 2, as well as being done by third-party publishers. What was that support going to look like? And let me tell you, the Switch 2 Direct did not disappoint. I really believe that the Switch 2 Direct answered a lot of my questions and then some. When we first got into the Switch 2 Direct, the first thing that we saw wasn't the Switch 2, but was a brand new Mario Kart game. Specifically, Mario Kart World. Yeah, I know they're not going with the whole 9. They're not going like the numbering of the franchise kind of thing, but I like the name, but also what they showed, amazing. I'm looking forward to this Mario Kart. It's been years since we've got a new Mario Kart game. Mario Kart 8 has been recycled at this point multiple times through multiple game cycles, like console cycles, because I believe Mario Kart 8 came out on the Wii U and then got ported over to the Switch. So right now we've been playing a very, very old, Wii U game that at this point I think everybody is looking forward to seeing what the new Mario Kart game was looking for. And Nintendo delivered. They dropped the Mario Kart World trailer. It looks amazing. There's a lot more new features, new characters. There's a bunch of other new modes that people will be able to go through. And I am really looking forward to this game. This game is 100% launching day one, that is a very smart move by Nintendo. Like, obviously, when you are releasing your next game console, you want one of the banger games to be there on day one. And what better banger game than Mario Kart World? Like, that's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to the price, because later on the website, it actually got revealed that the price for Mario Kart World is going to be at $80. So I really hope that Nintendo did not just open Pandora's box with this, and this leads to more developers seeing that and being like, hey, we can charge $80 for our game, when they're dropping like AAA slop, essentially. I know that Nintendo personally, I believe that Nintendo probably could charge $80, especially with Mario Kart World, because Mario Kart World is such a big IP that everybody and their mama knows what this game is, and obviously I feel like it's one of those games that regardless of the price, people would be picking it up, no problem. But I really just hope that this is not the trend moving forward. I really hope it is only for selective games, that it is $80, but we'll see. But anyways, Mario Kart World starting the Switch 2 Direct off strong. And then we switch over to actually talking about the Switch 2. So we got some new details about the handheld version, like obviously the handheld when it's in handheld mode. So it is going to be very much bigger. I believe it was 7.9 inches, which is definitely bigger than the original Switch, which I believe was 6.3 inches based off of what they had said. I may be wrong on that, but we got a new look on that. We got a look about how that screen is going to look. It can run 1080p, 720p. Obviously, that was going to be the case with a handheld version, but running at 120 FPS, that it can reach up to 120 FPS. So that is great. I'm glad that they are allowing for that to be a thing on handheld, and on top of that, they have HDR. So it will absolutely make the contrast of colors pop. Even if it is on an LCD screen, that is one aspect that I really was kind of like, why'd y'all move backwards, kind of, especially after having the OLED Switch. That OLED screen has just been hitting so nice on the Switch 1. So for them to go with an LCD screen, I understand it's probably more of like a cost-cutting type of thing, but really sad that it won't be an OLED version off the rip. I'm sure later on they will probably have an OLED version, later on in the Switch 2's life cycle, but we'll see. And then we got a look about so we got the handheld mode and how that will run in 1080p, 720p at 120 FPS or 120 hertz. And then we also got a look of how the Switch will play when it is docked. And we finally got confirmed 4K 60 when docked. Huh. If you had told me that Switch 2 was about to give me 4K 60 docked, I wouldn't believe you. I would have said, nah, bro, that's not gonna happen. Nintendo doesn't really do that shit. They're not really about getting to modern day, like, industry standards when it comes to specs and tech and stuff like that. But wow, they surprised me. They really surprised me with that 4K 60. So now for games like, for example, they showed Metroid Prime, we will 100% be getting a performance mode and a balance mode, which I am 100% so for especially for a game like Metroid Prime 4. Like, that's gonna look amazing on 4K 60. And if you can run it at 4K 60, I know those setups are about to go crazy for the Switch 2. So, and we got to look at the dock, and obviously people are like, well, how is it going to handle 4K 60? Don't you think that the dock is going to maybe overheat, or the system itself is going to overheat? Well, Nintendo said, you know what? We already thought about that. And they added a little fan. They added some fans in the back of the dock, so then that way it can provide some cooling, make it to where the Switch 2 isn't overheating and stuff. So this 100% is such an upgrade from the original Switch 1, and the dock is obviously big upgrade as well. But we got to look at the Joy-Cons and how they're magnetically attached to the Switch, and obviously you just won't be able to rip them off because according to Nintendo, they're like strong. They have strong magnets, and the only way you'll be able to release them is through the buttons on the back. So I think that is probably a good idea for the Switch 2, especially because the Nintendo market has a lot of children. So I'm glad that they thought and we're like, we're not going to make this to where it's like very flimsy. And I hope it's not. We haven't seen the full release yet, but that is based off of the claim of what Nintendo has made in the Switch 2 Direct. That is really good. It's a really good step forward. So with the Joy-Cons. And yeah, and so we got a pretty decent look about that. We got a look on mouse controls, and that I think was, oh man, I'm very excited to see what Nintendo can do with mouse controls. Like, obviously people have already thought about, oh my goodness, we're gonna get, you know, a lot better control over games like Civ 7, or I believe, for me, I think it'll be a great thing to have whenever you're playing a very competitive multiplayer shooter type of game, like, say for example, Call of Duty or Fortnite, or hell, Marvel Rivals. I'm sure that game will probably be on Switch too. And, you know, I think that will be such a great way to just add more competitiveness within the Nintendo, you know, sphere at that point, and will allow for people to be more, you know, if they want to be more accurate with their games or with their controls and stuff like that, they absolutely can. And so we got that with the mouse controls, and then we got one of the biggest features, honestly, that, wow, oh my gosh, I'm surprised that people had been asking for this since the Switch 1, and we are finally getting this on Switch 2, and that is voice chat. Holy shit. When I saw we are getting voice chat, I was like, bro, they've done it. They've done it. Like, years of motherfuckers asking for a voice chat implementation on the Switch 1 finally being answered on Switch 2. I am very excited that that is the case. But there is a big but on this. And the voice chat, while I believe it is great, there's going to be screen sharing, there's going to be features where you are 100% going to be able to communicate with your friends and finally have it to where it is interconnected with the Nintendo system, and you don't have to fucking, you know, pull up an app or, you know, go on Discord and then like play on Switch or whatever and, you know, talk separately on Discord and shit like that. That's no longer going to be the case. But my biggest complaint about this is that it is only going to be behind a Nintendo Switch Online subscription, which to me personally is kind of fucking dumb. Like, why are we paywalling a feature like voice chat? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. You know, Xbox, Sony, you can do that free, no problem. They even have Discord implementation for the most part on their systems. But then we get Nintendo and they're still doing some, you know, dumb shit like paywalling voice chat. And they have a whole button. We got confirmation on the C button that's on, I believe, the right Joy-Con. It is a dedicated voice chat button. So to me, I don't understand. Why paywall this? Why are we putting this behind a paywall and making people get a subscription so then you can voice chat with your friends? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Granted, the first year, I think until March 20-something of next year, voice chat will be free for everybody. If you have a Switch 2, it'll be free for everybody. Great. Fantastic. So that's cool. I'm glad that is a thing, but still kind of dumb that that this is behind a paywall. Like, past that, you're gonna have to pay for it. So I think that is a double-edged sword, where I'm so glad that Nintendo is finally getting out of the dark ages when it comes to trying to communicate with your friends and talk to them in voice chat. And you can finally do it, and you can even hook up a little camera. They have peripherals now for a camera where you can now video chat as well with your friends on Switch 2, which that's cool. That is going to be great. So, but yeah, it's just like, I don't understand why they did that. So, Nintendo just is doing their Nintendo thing. Great. My fucking audio went out on the second half when I was talking about game share and shit. So, yeah, I don't really remember what I was talking about when it comes to game share. Sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, but Switch 2 fucking looking amazing. It's looking great. Game share, some new features with voice chat, and we got the, obviously the overall what it's gonna look like when it's running on the Switch 2. Awesome. So yeah, Nintendo did a great job really highlighting the Switch 2 with this, and honestly, they did a masterful job with this. And then we got some new bombshells with the third-party support. Wow. When it comes to the third-party support for the Switch 2, I am excited. Like, holy shit. We had big names coming out, ready to drop all these games and port these games over to the Switch 2. We got Capcom over here porting over Street Fighter 6. I was like, yo, Street Fighter 6? And on top of that, it doesn't look like how the Mortal Kombat versions of the Switch, like the Switch games, like those Switch versions look like. They don't look like that. They actually look great. They look fantastic. So we got Street Fighter 6 confirmation. We got to look at Split Fiction, a game that recently just dropped, coming over and being ported over to the Switch. That's awesome. Looked a little but I feel like maybe that's because maybe it was, I don't know, on the handheld version? I'm not really sure, but still, the fact that we're getting Split Fiction on it, that's going to be cool. Dope as fuck. That is a great Switch game to play for sure. Then we got Elden Ring. Elden Ring is getting a brand new, I said brand new, kind of a spoiler, but Elden Ring being announced for the Switch 2, I'm 100% going to be getting that, even though I literally have it on PlayStation and PC already. I don't give a fuck. I'll absolutely play it on the go when I want to. Fuck you mean? I'm going to play it on the go. Huh. So, Elden Ring got announced for this being ported over to the Switch 2. We got looks of what Square Enix was going to bring over. We got, which they're bringing, I believe, Bravely Default. I've heard it's a great game. Never played it myself. And then Final Fantasy VII Remake. Oh my gosh! When I saw that, well, I didn't fucking see it because the live stream fucking crashed or just paused when I was doing it. I was like, bro, what? No! No!
Final Fantasy VII Remake インターグレードを発売いたします。
Oh my god! Let's go!
までを描いた3部作シリーズの1作目となり、20年以上の時を経て再創作された新しい FF7 を
Bruh! Why the fuck are they playing Enter the Gungeon?
スイッチ2で展開する FF7 リメイクシリーズにぜひメイクシリーズに
Oh, there we go! Ah! Let's go! And I was just like, bruh, Nintendo, come on, get your shit together. But the fact that we got an announcement of Final Fantasy VII Remake on the Switch 2 100% confirms the rumors for a long ass time that people were seeing the Switch 2 running and they were seeing Final Fantasy VII running on it. Like, I was like, if this is true, this will be big. I really hope it's true. And sure enough, that's what happened. Final Fantasy VII dropped. We're getting games like Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition. So we get the game and Phantom Liberty on top of that. So that's going to be fucking dope to play on the Switch 2. Oh my gosh. Like, the third-party support for for this console is bananas. Like, they have really gone crazy with the third-party support, and I'm so happy that they are, because Switch 2 is 100% being legitimized as more than just, I think for a while now, Nintendo has become more and more legitimized as, not just a console for little kids, but now for, like, real, like, gamers in general and stuff like that, for adult gamers, because we're getting new games that, aren't for kids, like Elden Ring. That's definitely not for kids. Or Cyberpunk 2077. Like, those are games that are coming over, and with the third-party support that just off the rip with the Switch 2 Direct, I'm really looking forward to what other developers have in store for the Switch 2. So yeah, brand new stuff. Hades 2, Silksong 2. It's still coming. It's still coming. To all the people out there who are still holding on hope that's for Silksong, it's still coming. Absolutely. And they said that it's coming this year, within this year. So I hope it is the case. I hope that is the case, but we will see. Yeah, so we got a lot of really good announcements for the third-party support. And then we got more looks of first-party support. So we got an announcement for a new Kirby game, Kirby Air Riders. That game doesn't look like it's going to come out for another year. I believe it's at 2026 or something like that. I may be wrong. But it's being developed by the guy who did Smash Brothers. That's literally what he's been working on since Ultimate dropped. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does with Kirby. And then on top of that, we got a new Donkey Kong game. I am very excited. And the very big reason why is because it genuinely reminds me of Astrobot. I know Astrobot is 100% a derivative of like what Nintendo has already been doing, but because I'm already on the train with what Astrobot did, I'm just looking forward to what Donkey Kong does with this new entry. Like, it looks great. I love the new model of Donkey Kong. He looks goofy as fuck. And yeah, we only saw a little bit of the first party exclusivity, or not first party exclusivity. God, I'm dropping spoilers left and right. First party development for the Switch 2. We're gonna get some more stuff coming out later on, and obviously we're gonna have the expansion packs for older games, so there will 100% be a huge library of games to play off the rip when you first get your Switch 2, and that is going to be great. I'm glad, because people are just going to be able to go in with their old games and stuff like that from the Switch 1, play it over from the Switch 2, maybe upgrade if they have those expansion packs available, and then, while we wait for the first party games to start coming out and stuff like that, we have plenty of stuff that we can play on our backlog till then. So that's what I'm excited about. And then we got one of the biggest fucking bombshells. Like, I saw this and I immediately was like, what? Like, oh my god. I gotta show my clip over here for for my live reaction for this announcement, because this was absolutely bonkers when I saw it. From Software, no fucking way. Are we getting a new game? What is this, bro? What is this? What is this? Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. What is this? They said it's a new game. Holy fuck, what game is this, bruh? Oh, let's go, we got jetpacks. Yo, I'm speechless. Mouth on the fucking floor. Whoa, what is this? Okay, that's crazy. That looks creepy as fuck. Oh my god. What the hell is this? This looks fucking dope as fuck.
And one alone.
The Duskbloods. Oh my god, this is a new game! Oh my god! Holy shit. Next year, wow. Only on the Switch too?
What you just saw
Wow.
is a brand new game by
But Nintendo is going the route of exclusivity games. So in the same way that Sony has their exclusive games, not just first party, but third party as well, Nintendo is doing the same thing with a third party developer doing a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive. And that developer is none other than FromSoft. And they announced that they are dropping the Dusk Bloods. Holy shit. When I saw this trailer, I immediately was like, Nintendo did it. They absolutely just blew this fucking direct out of the water. I saw this gameplay, this little bit of gameplay that we saw for this title, this new title, and I thought, this is great. Absolute cinema. Like, I'm Martin Scorsese on that hoe. Absolute cinema, because holy fuck, it looked beautiful. 100% just giving the middle finger to Sony and the Sony fanboys, basically being like, fuck you, we're not doing no Bloodborne remaster, remake, or even Bloodborne 2. We just go into the Dust Bloods for the Switch, for the Switch 2. I know motherfuckers got heated when they saw this because they're like, bro, this is basically Bloodborne 2. But it looks amazing, and I'm still hoping that they get there's a Bloodborne remaster, remake, or something in the works. But for now, I will 100% take this IP, brand new IP, on the Switch 2. Like, that is crazy. I don't think there's not really a lot of Switch IP exclusive games like that from third-party developers, and like big ones too. So for them, like, doing this for the Switch 2 off the rip, 100%, I am looking forward to this, and it is just going to be a day one purchase whenever I can get my hands on a Switch 2. Day one purchase. Absolutely. Overall, we got a lot of really good announcements. We got a brand new look into the Switch 2, which honestly, that was a masterclass of all the shit that Nintendo could have done with the Switch 2 announcement. They absolutely went gangbusters. The third-party support that they showed off, the new exclusive from Software, the first-party support, they are ready to go into the new console cycle with their fucking fighting, going in. No one's about to challenge Nintendo type of energy, and I love it. I'm happy that they're doing that. Like, we've been needing that from Nintendo right now. So I'm very much looking forward to the Switch 2. And later on, there was more announcements on their website in regards to what the price and when pre-orders would be going live for, because we didn't get that information on the Direct. But we did get confirmed that the Switch 2 would be $450 off the rip, and there will be a bundle with Mario Kart World, which, good lord, with the $80 price tag, I believe it's going to be definitely a little bit more than $500 and stuff. Maybe it might be $500, might be a little bit more, but still, the $450 just for the bare bones Switch 2. I think it is something that I probably, that's where I felt like it would probably land. And then pre-orders, I believe, was announced for April 8th. So, and obviously a lot of retailers are already good. They're ready to get their hands on those pre-orders for sure. I really am curious to see how Nintendo will handle those pre-orders, if it is going to be a PlayStation 5 Xbox situation. I really hope it's not, but Nintendo did say that they wanted to have a lot of stock for the Switch 2, so then they didn't have and run into that issue. So I'm really hoping that they did make a lot. That way scalpers aren't just running through these stock inventory, running through this inventory and just then fucking over customers by reselling at a higher prices and stuff. So I really hope that's not the case, but we'll see. Nintendo did say that they would have they wanted to do that and make it to where everybody is able to get one. So I really hope that is the case. But yeah, overall, the Switch 2 is looking like it is gonna be the next home run for Nintendo. 100%. Everything that they have lined up ready to go for the Switch 2 is looking amazing. And then, even with the Switch 1, we're getting like a final goodbye with some of the next couple games that we'll be getting for it. We're definitely starting to we're about to start closing the book on the Switch 1, which is such a weird moment. It's a weird feeling because like Switch 1 has just been around for so long. It's had such a big life cycle that like to think that the Switch 1 is almost ready to get out the door and stuff, it's just crazy to think about. I remember not even that long ago when I got the OLED version for the Switch and I was going in on the OLED version and all these games that I had missed for Switch. It was so much fun. So I'm really looking forward to see what other support Nintendo still has for the Switch 1. Obviously, right now, we're not fully getting rid of the Switch 1. There's still plenty of games that are on the way for Switch 1. And I'm really looking forward to see what Nintendo does for the Switch 2. It's already looking like it's going to be a home run. It's going to go gangbusters. And they have a lot of momentum right now. And with Switch 2 and this Direct, that momentum is just going and going. So I really hope that momentum just keeps going for them when the game actually, or the system actually does release. So yeah, but overall, those are my thoughts. That's what I was really excited to talk about with these directs, from the previous two directs. Like I said, I thought it just made a lot more sense to just really talk about both of those directs into one video instead of just making two separate videos. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed me talking about my thoughts in regards to those two directs. And let me know what you're wanting to see come to the Switch 2 or what you're looking forward to with the Switch 2. I am very much looking forward to the Switch 2, and I don't think I'll be on there day one. I think I will probably wait a little bit before I get my hands on a Switch 2, but 100% I will be getting a Switch 2, especially before the Dust is it the Duskbloods, the Dustborns? I don't remember what it's called. Duskbloods, I think that's what it was called. Especially before the Duskbloods comes out on Switch next year, which they have that announced. They already announced the day, or the year at least. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the Switch. So yeah, let me know down in the comments what you are looking forward to with the Switch 2, what you were happy to see with either of those two directs. And yeah, absolutely like and subscribe to the channel and like this video, and be on the lookout for some more videos coming out on the pipeline. Like I said, I'm still working on the Last of Us video. I really am hoping to get that done before the first episode drops. If not, maybe a little bit into the season, but we will see. And then I am really looking forward to putting out a reviews video on some of the most recent games that I've been playing. So I'm really looking forward to that. But anyways, yeah, like I said, subscribe to the channel, like this video, go follow my Twitch too whenever I stream. That way you can get notified when I'm live and doing live reactions of like the Switch 2 announcement that I did today. That was fun. And yeah, so I hope you guys have a great day, and I am happy to be doing this. I always loved making these videos in regards to sharing my passion about video games with other people. So yeah, I just hope that anybody who watches these, I hope you really like my commentary on it and just get something out of it. And yeah, I think that's about it. So hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye bye.